Remembering all of them, I begin the study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So let us chant the first verse. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Prathamodhyayah. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta-yuyutsavah Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta-yuyutsavah Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. This first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called Arjuna Vishad Yoga. Vishad means grief, dejection. But this is also called a yoga. It brought Arjuna close to Bhagwan and his teaching. He surrendered to Bhagwan Sri Krishna. So even his dejection became a yoga, what you call a nimitta for him to come close to Bhagwan. In fact, in Mahabharata, there is a story of Kunti also. Kunti, when she had to face so much of hardship, and whenever she had this hardship, she used to remember Bhagwan Krishna intensely. So she told Bhagwan that you give me this vardhan, that let there be sorrow in my life, because I would remember you intensely. Dukh mein sumiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi. Jo sukh mein sumiran kare, to dukh kahe ka hoy. So generally we don't remember Bhagwan when we are happy. So this dejection led to Arjuna approaching Bhagwan Krishna. He was there with him all the time, but he surrendered to him as a Shishya and learnt this great knowledge. In this chapter, there is this, the whole background of Mahabharata is conveyed briefly, and the incident which led to Arjuna's dejection. Because unless we understand this, we will not be able to appreciate the solution. Arjuna's problem has to be understood properly. Just as when we go to a doctor, first the doctor tries to understand exactly what is our problem. He has to diagnose the exact situation of the patient. Then only they can give the right medicine. Even in this, like this homeopathy, you go to a doctor, you say you have a headache, he will not just listen to it, he will ask you many questions. What do you like? What do you don't like? What type of dream you have? What type of food you eat? All sorts of questions. And then they give the exact remedy. Similarly, here also, we have to understand exactly what is the problem. Not only with Arjuna, because though this message was given to Arjuna, it was given to all of us. So exactly what is our our problem, what is our situation for which Bhagavad Gita becomes important for us, that we should understand. Therefore, this first chapter of Gita plays a very important role. So it begins with Dhritarashtra's question. As you all know, that this Bhagavad Gita was told to Dhritarashtra after 10 days of the war. The war was already fought, and on the 10th day, Bhishma Pitamaha fell on the battlefield. It was a great shock to Dhritarashtra. He could not believe. He just was too much for him. And as I had said that day also, that this Dhritarashtra had sent a message to Arjuna before the war. He also played his own psychological game, because this war is not only fought with weapons, but a lot of psychology is involved in fighting wars. I won't tell you details because I don't know. Anyway, so a lot of psychology is involved. So Dhritarashtra had sent a very demoralizing message to Arjuna through this Sanjay. And Arjuna got a little disturbed by that, but maybe he composed his mind. But when he came on this battlefield, he again remembered all that Dhritarashtra had said, and he got really disturbed. See, even a sad story when we listen from even enemy or adharma person who is adharmic, sometimes we get affected. We start becoming very, emotional about it. Right? We become attached to it. Even some disease and all. Sometimes people get attached to their own disease. Right? They don't want to remove their appendix. It is hurting. But nay, bechara, it was born with me, and all those things. So similarly, Arjuna was also affected by the whole situation. But when he fought this war and he shot arrows on Bhishma Pitamaha, a great warrior whom Arjuna loved and respected a lot. And Bhishma Pitamaha also had great love for all these Pandavas. And he knew what they were doing is right, but still, because of circumstances, he was fighting against them. So it was total conflict in his mind, dilemma sort of. So when Bhishma Pitamaha fell down, Dhritarashtra, he asked Sanjay this question. See, before the war began, Vedvyasji, he came to Dhritarashtra and he said, now this war is about to begin. You have not learnt anything. You could have stopped this war, but anyway, now it will begin. So if you want, I can give you Divya Drishti. You can watch direct telecast. You can watch. Even nowadays in modern times, war is fought and we sit in our drawing room and watch on television. So similarly, you can watch this war. But Dhritarashtra was very frightened. He was scared. He knew that what he was doing is adharma. But out of his affection for Duryodhana, he agreed for this war. But he didn't want to see it. He was afraid. So some other option was given to him. That Divya Drishti was given to Sanjaya. Sanjaya was very dedicated sevak of Dhritarashtra and very good person. So Sanjay was given this Divya Drishti by which he could not only see what is happening on the battlefield, but he could also hear what is happening. And he can also little bit penetrate in the minds of people. So Sanjay became the reporter. So Dhritarashtra asked him, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. See, this whole Mahabharata, we believe, is an actual incident which happened in our country about 5,000 years ago, around this area only. And the what you call the evidence of it, because it is such a long time ago, very few evidence are there. At least the names and all of the places and all are there, but there are internal evidences. Within Mahabharata, there are some astrological and other evidences are there, through which they place the exact time of that war, etc. Even during the war, there was eclipse, so they can calculate and place the exact time of the war. Because a lot of things are there within our scriptures, because they were very good in precisely giving the tithi and nakshatra and all those things. So about 5,000 years ago, this war was fought. But very strange and very interesting thing about this Mahabharata is that lot of these names and the whole situation is such of Mahabharata that it can also be interpreted symbolically. That doesn't mean that it was not there, but it can be interpreted in a symbolic way also. So, the Dhritarashtra, all the names are very suggestive. So, Dhritarashtra means one who is holding on to Rashtra, one who is very attached to the kingdom. Right from beginning, he was very much irritated, agitated, disturbed when his brother became the king because he was blind. But he had that attachment to this kingdom. And he was totally blind with attachment to the kingdom, as well as blind with attachment to his children. Not only Dhritarashtra, but Gandhari also. She also she blindfolded herself. So when the parents are blindfolded, then the children who are born are all do. Do means dushta. Duryodhan, Dushyasan, Dushala, all this do over there. Duryodhan means he was not a good warrior. He was not a very good person, adharmik, because of not proper samskar by his parents. Actually, a lot of things depends on the parents, how samskar is given. Of course, we bring a lot from our past lives also, but a lot depends on the parents, what type of samskar is given to them. So he was not a good warrior. He was very negative person, tried to take away things from others by force, by all sorts of kapat, cheating. He snatched away the kingdom of his own cousins. He insulted Draupadi. He tried to burn them, kill them. All sorts of things, negativities we see in Duryodhan. So this gives rise to a lot of problem in our life. So later on we will see in Bhagavad Gita, later chapters, Bhagavan talks about Daivi and Asuri Sampatti. That every one of us, we have within us Daivi and Asuri Sampatti. Good and bad qualities, nature are there in everyone. All of us are potentially good and potentially bad. Both sides we can go. Because our mind, our intellect, they can move in the direction of good, in the direction of bad also. So possibility of both are there. In Ramayana also, our Vibhishan ji tells Ravan कि सुमति कुमति सबके हियर रही. That Sumati, good, Kumati, bad thoughts are there in everyone's heart. It is our effort to support the good and to neglect the bad. The choice is given to us. We have the choice. Many people, they feel that everything is destined. Everything is not destined. What you have now is destined, but what you do from now onwards is up to us. Certain things are destined, but lot of choice we have. So, we always have the choice of good and bad. Within us also, sometimes good thought comes, sometimes bad thought comes. We have the choice to take side of the good and neglect that which is bad. So we have in this first chapter, first we begin with Dhritarashtra, then slowly Sanjaya moves to Duryodhana. He talks about him, Duryodhana speaks, and then we move to Bhagwan Krishna and Arjuna and remain there. Luckily. Okay. So, Dhritarashtra asked Sanjaya कि धर्म क्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेता युयुत्सवः मामका पांडवाश्चैव किम कुर्वत संजय. हे Sanjaya, that my sons, mamakaha, my sons, and Pandavaschaiva, and the sons of this my brother, the Pandavas, when they assembled on the battlefield in order to fight this war, Yuyussavaha, with an intention to fight, when they assembled, where did they assemble? Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, in that beautiful place called Kurukshetra, which is Dharmakshetra, which is a place of dharma. Such a tragedy that Dhritarashtra begins with that wonderful word dharma, but he himself was not following dharma. He knew whatever he was doing was not proper. In fact, first time when they lost the kingdom and all, he himself returned it back to them. But now, by cheat and by all sorts of tricks, they snatched away the kingdom. So, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. Again, if we see, the whole Bhagavad Gita begins with the word dharma. And it concludes with the word mama. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutihi, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Mama. Mama means my. Dharma means the dharma. My dharma. So the entire Bhagavad Gita tells us what is my dharma. As I said, dharma is a very deep word. It has got many meanings, many facets. One of its meaning is our our duty, our responsibility. What is my responsibility as a person? What is my responsibility as human being? What is our responsibility as a society? What is our responsibility as a nation? All this is conveyed through this word dharma. Therefore, we have swadharma, then dharma, grahastha dharma, brahmachari dharma, or raj dharma. Different types of this dharma are mentioned in our scriptures. So, dharma kshetre, kurukshetre, samaveta yuyutsavaha, they had assembled on this battlefield. So here he shows his attachment to his own people. They are my. And these are others. This itself is the expression of ignorance. Tulsidas ji calls it the expression of the maya. Maya ruto mor torate maya. Ignorance. The concept that I am there, you are there, I am different, you are different. So this division creates problem in our life. All the emotions, all the actions, all that which divides people, divides us, creates problem. Even we start shouting when there is distance. Somebody said very nicely, when we have hatred or dislike for other person, we feel that person is very far away. So when we even when the person is very close, we shout at that person. Because when the person is far away, we have to shout. They shout like anything. You will see on the streets also. जोर से चिल्लाते हैं. But as we start feeling more and more close to that person, affectionate, as we feel great sense of love, compassion to that person, our voice also goes lower and lower. And you will find two lovers and all this, softly, you will not even hear what they are saying. Sometimes even on the phone, parents are sitting, but that youngster talking to his, parents will not know what he is saying. They might feel he's chanting some mantra, but no. He is telling the whole story too. And they will not know what is happening. And when we have our hearts come absolutely close to each other, we don't even have to speak. Same thing with Bhagwan also. When we feel he's far away, we have to shout loudly. But as we feel closer and closer to him, our sadhana, our upasana also become more and more subtle, more and more silent. Then even if we softly chant his name, within our heart also we know that he is listening. And later on when we feel that oneness, we don't even have to say anything. Through that silence only, we can have that communion with Ishvara. So this itself is the very root of samsara, the division created by the feeling that this is mine, this is yours. This creates selfishness, this creates what we call partiality, it creates greed and all sorts of negativities. ये मेरा है, ये आपका है. In the houses also, whenever there is this type of feeling, then division happens. ये मेरा है, ये. Sometimes they divide the whole bungalow into two. आधा बाथरूम यहाँ, आधा बाथरूम वहाँ. एग्जैक्ट डिवीजन होना चाहिए. चलो बाबा क्या करें, यहाँ बाथरूम में जाते हैं, वहाँ पर वो फ्लश करना पड़ता है. एनीवे, so when this type of feeling is there, then samsara begins. So, Mamaka Pandavascheva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. What did they do? Because Dhritarashtra wanted what happened in the beginning, before the war began. Exactly what happened. He wanted to know. So he asked this question. Now very interesting that there are no more questions from Dhritarashtra. The entire Bhagavad Gita he listens. It is believed that he listened. But there was no question from him. समझ में आ गया? हाँ सब समझ में आ गया. कोई question है? कुछ नहीं. So he had no questions. In fact, he did not understand also. I think so. But he became the nimitta. He did not, because the whole war was fought, so many people died. He alone could have stopped the war. He was the king that. He alone could have stopped the war, but he did not. And everything got destroyed. So much so that after the war, Yudhishthira became the king, and Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, they stayed with Yudhishthira. And Yudhishthira used to so lovingly used to do namaskar and take care of them with full respect and all. Though Bhim and all had difference of opinion, but Yudhishthira was a dharmic person, full of dharma. That Vidur had to come there. One day he came and he asked Dhritarashtra, what are you doing? Don't you feel ashamed also? Those people whom you pushed them away from the kingdom, you snatched their kingdom, you tried to kill them, you fought this great war, and now you are staying here eating their food and all. Vidur said, बहुत हो गया, कितने दिन जीना है आपको? And why you want to live in this way? Why you are so much attached to this kingdom and staying here and eating all malpua and all? This is my addition, huh? So he said, you abhi to Bhagwan ka smaran karo. At least now you surrender to that Ishvara. So he understands this. And he and Gandhari and Kunti also, they go to the forest and they just spend their time there till the end, meditating, remembering Bhagwan. So that is this Dhritarashtra, he asked this question. Now Sanjay replies.